Imagine pulling into your driveway after a long day, only to spot your HOA president paddling away in your kayak, screeching about maritime rights while clutching a soggy cheeseboard like it's her last defense against reality. This wasn't some fevered dream, it was the opening salvo in a neighborhood war where one woman's thirst for control turned a serene coastal haven into a battlefield of absurdity and vengeance. In the sleepy suburb of Willow Bay, Florida, where manicured lawns met the gentle lap of the Gulf, Alex Thompson had carved out a quiet life. His family dock, handed down through generations, wasn't just a relic of nostalgia, it was a federally leased asset for the U.S. Coast Guard, hosting routine fuel stops and emergency drills. Alex kept to himself, a retired engineer who preferred tinkering with boat engines over neighborhood gossip. But tranquility shattered when Karen Whitaker swept in like a Category 5 hurricane disguised as a welcome wagon. Fresh from a messy divorce in the Midwest, Karen had bulldozed her way to HOA presidency with a platform of unified community standards, code for micromanaging every blade of grass and breath of air. Her victory speech, delivered at the community clubhouse with a slide deck featuring clip art of smiling stick figures holding hands, promised order over chaos. Neighbors nodded politely, too apathetic to run against her. Little did they know, her version of order involved treating the bylaws like a divine mandate, enforcing rules with the zeal of a cult leader. The trouble brewed subtly at first. Alex noticed Karen lingering near his property line during her daily patrols, clipboard in hand, jotting notes with a furrowed brow. Then came the glitter-dusted note taped to his mailbox: "Dear resident, your dock's exclusivity undermines our shared coastal spirit. Let's collaborate on accessibility." Alex chuckled at the audacity, replying with scanned copies of his deed, zoning exemptions, and the Coast Guard lease, documents that clearly stated the dock was off-limits to HOA whims. Karen's response? A curt email: "Community harmony requires flexibility. We'll discuss this further." Alex shrugged it off, assuming it was harmless overreach. But inside, he started paying closer attention, documenting every odd glance and whispered conversation he overheard at the neighborhood pool. One afternoon, the absurdity hit peak levels. Alex returned from errands to find his German Shepherd, Buddy, barking frantically at the dock's end. There, bobbing awkwardly in Alex's kayak, was Karen, robe askew, wine stains blooming like abstract art, waving a half-eaten charcuterie board. "This vessel is now under HOA inspection for equitable use," she bellowed, her voice echoing across the water like a bad foghorn. Alex froze, keys dangling. "Karen, that's my kayak. And this dock is federal property. Get out before you hurt yourself." She paddled harder, drifting sideways. "Maritime rights dictate shared waterways. You're hoarding this resource." "Alex, the community demands access." Neighbors peeked from windows, some snickering, others rolling eyes. Alex calmly filmed the spectacle on his phone, his face a mask of patience while his mind catalogued her every ridiculous word. By evening, whispers rippled through Willow Bay: "Alex is being secretive about that dock, probably up to no good with those Coast Guard visits." Karen had planted the seeds of doubt, her polite smile hiding a venomous agenda. As days turned to weeks, Karen's campaign intensified, blending passive aggression with outright sabotage. Alex left for a quick weekend getaway, trusting Buddy with a neighbor. He returned to chaos, plastic cups scattered like confetti bombs, a forgotten cooler oozing melted cheese, and a pink yoga mat tangled in his mooring lines. Worse, a wooden bench slat was snapped clean, and fresh gouges marred his boat's hull. "What in the world?" Alex muttered, his comm cracking. He dialed Karen. Voice steady. Karen. My dock looks like a frat party aftermath. Chairs broken. Boat scratched. Who did this? Her reply dripped honeyed innocence. Oh. Alex. Just a spontaneous sunset soiree to foster bonds. Wind must have knocked things around, or maybe Buddy got playful. You know how dogs are. Alex's jaw tightened. Buddy doesn't snap furniture. Karen. And this is leased to the Coast Guard. They have a drill tomorrow. Stay off. She laughed lightly. Coast Guard? Those weekend warriors in their play uniforms? Lighten up. Alex. It's about community vibes. Click. The gaslighting burned. But Alex didn't snap. Instead, he reviewed his security cams. Spotting shadowy figures during the soiree. He emailed clips to Coast Guard Officer Reyes, noting the escalating trespass. Rumors snowballed. At the pool, Karen confided in clusters of neighbors. Her voice a stage whisper. Alex's dock obsession is suspicious. Military types sneaking around? We deserve transparency. A timid board member, Sarah, texted Alex, heads up. She's saying you're antisocial. Maybe hiding something shady. Isolation crept in. But Alex observed quietly. Gathering emails, texts, and footage like ammunition. Then, horror struck. Inspecting the dock pre-drill, Alex found tool marks on a fuel valve, loosened just enough to be dangerous. This isn't vandalism, it's reckless endangerment, he breathed. Cams confirmed Karen alone. Tampering while glancing around nervously. Heart pounding. Alex forwarded the evidence to Reyes. Urgent, interference with federal equipment. The next morning, as the Coast Guard arrived, Karen stormed down. Clipboard aloft. Gentlemen, this site falls under HOA oversight. Show me your permits. Officer Reyes. A no-nonsense veteran. Eider Cooley. Ma'am. We're federal officers on leased property. No HOA stamps needed. Karen stepped closer. Jabbing a finger. Noise complaints abound. Cease or face complaints. Her hand grazed Rhea's arm. He stepped back sharply. Do not touch federal personnel. Step away now. Flushed. Karen muttered about abuse of power before retreating. Alex watched from afar. A grim satisfaction building. He'd let her dig her own grave. Karen's retaliation was swift and theatrical. Flyers blanketed mailboxes, militarized waterfront. HOA president fights for fairness. Bullet points twisted facts, Alex hoarding resources. Using intimidating connections to bully the neighborhood. She door-knocked relentlessly. Guilting signatures for a petition, sign for harmony, or side with elitism. Mr. Jenkins. Cornered on his porch. Scribbled just to escape her barrage. It's not personal. Alex, he later apologized. She wouldn't shut up. Then the fines hit, a $200 citation for visible recycling bins 2 hours early, a rule dormant for years. Another, $500 daily for denying community access, backdated absurdly. Alex scanned and forwarded everything to Reyes. Adding, harassment escalating. But Karen went creepier, stationing herself at his driveway in a neon vest. Monitoring with faux concern. Alex. Buddy's leash seems long, safety first near that operational zone. Her smile was all teeth. Her eyes predatory. Tensions boiled during the next Coast Guard inspection. Karen waited. Phone recording. All external visitors must wristband up for insurance, she declared. Reyes sighed. Ma'am. Federal ops trump HOA bans. Undeterred, Karen narrated loudly, witnessed the arrogance, refusing accountability while handling hazards. She edged toward a fuel line, bumping a crew member. "I demand oversight as president." The crewman blocked her. "Step back for safety." Rhea's voice thundered, "You're obstructing a federal operation. Move or face charges." Karen's eyes widened, defiance cracking briefly before she backed off, still filming her victim narrative. That afternoon, Reyes called Alex, her interference today, physical. Hazardous. We're escalating federally. This ends. While awaiting the hammer, Karen called an emergency HOA meeting at the pool. Preaching dock equity with sailboat doodles. "The Coast Guard can apply for guest passes," she proclaimed. When challenged, she snapped, "They haven't sued yet." "Have they?" Alex found an ally in retired Coast Guard vet Hank. Down the street. "Senior type, petty tyrants crumble under real authority," Hank said. Sharing old blueprints proving the dock's critical status. Called a buddy at Homeland Security. They're interested in her obstruction. Small sabotages persisted, cut ropes. Loosened cleats, cams caught shadows. But Alex stayed vigilant. Buddy at his side. The breaking point, a midnight alert showed Karen in black, prying a Coast Guard storage lock. She slipped on algae, splashing comically into the water. Alex stifled a laugh. But hours later, cops knocked, assault complaint, says you pushed her. Set a trap. Alex showed footage, trespass and attempted break-in. She fell. Cops sighed. Figures. Karen's lawyer nephew sued for negligence and distress. Coast Guard legal dismissed it as frivolous. Then, orange flags staked Alex's yard, with a laminated kayak club plan envisioning his dock as a wellness nook with a juice bar. Hank laughed, "Time to end this farce." Homeland Security's inquiry landed like a bomb, a letter demanding HOA explanations for obstructing federal sites. Boards panicked. But Karen? She announced Dynamic Dock Day, a party on the dock. Alex watched from afar as streamers flew. Wine flowed. And Karen, in a dock diva sash, handed wristbands. Engines roared, 3 Coast Guard cutters approached, docking with force. The lead officer boomed, "Unauthorized gathering on federal property. Disperse." Karen charged, "This is permitted. You're trespassing." He nodded, a water cannon blasted, soaking the chaos, screams. Shattered glasses. Fleeing guests. A Karen crony lunged, restrained instantly. Karen stood drenched, makeup streaking, sash limp, screeching tyranny until her voice broke. Defeat etched on her face. The fallout was swift. HOA ousted Karen unanimously for detrimental conduct. She posted a rant about thugs, then vanished, mostly. A drone buzzed Alex's window, scanning the dock. Zoning complaints followed, alleging commercial misuse. At the hearing, Karen glared as Alex presented federal docs. The officer delayed, "Needs review." But Coast Guard upgraded the dock to permanent response site, installing a plaque, "Unauthorized interference, federal offense." Zoning dismissed the case, no jurisdiction. Relief flooded Alex, the dock secure. Peace restored. Yet, spotting Karen whispering with an anti-federal councilman, Alex knew the saga lingered. Neighbors waved awkwardly, but her smile promised more schemes. Was Karen the true villain for enforcing community at any cost? Or was Alex wrong for clinging to his exempt heritage? You decide, who really crossed the line in this HOA hell?